We can get the right ones. He said as long as we are kind of consistent about what we do, it's not a problem.
What's that?
On changing a word or editing a thing, as long as we kind of always do it the same way.
Right.
He said it's not a problem. Now, if you change something material, you have to do
Then,
it.
yeah.
But all it is an editing mistake, changing a word, because you didn't use the right word.
Yeah,
Now,
we didn't change the context.
now, the one, we're going to use the word must or shall. He goes, now that one,
Yeah.
you're actually
You're changing the
changing
context.
the whole context of the thing. But
As long as we do it.
let's just say it real
Normal.
fast. So nobody can hear. What's the girl's name from Housekeeping with the Long Hair? Dee?
D-E-E.
She's the only one that I didn't know. I had to call the ambulance for Amy's dad the day he fell. And Larry came. And Amy could not say enough things nice about Larry.
Yeah.
That he took the time, he asked, answered a question that we had, he got help, they came and got the people in the thing, all that.
Well, we got the same thing. Mark Gabriel. We got a party.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just got an email from him. He said he could not say enough about Mike, who was on patrol. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Definitely. Oh, I don't know.
So 4:30 in the morning, called 911.
Yeah.
Then he called patrol.
Yeah.
And he said within 5 minutes, Mike was standing at his door.
In terms of the later appointment.
I got it.
Okay.
You gonna need it?
I'll need it at the very last on the group.
Watch. You got it.
And he said 5 minutes. He helped him get his wallet, get some clothes, get everything ready for when ambulance got there. He said it was unbelievable how he responded. He had 100% blockage.
I only had 85%, but I had it in two spots, so I have two stints in the same vein, but
Yeah.
they're separated by the water.
I was shocked at his conditioning.
And then I have one that's about 5%.
I don't know, someplace warmer. That's the first thing that popped in my head.
We've never had this kind of lengthy cold weather here.
This is insane.
It would be 2 or 3 days cold and then it.
Yeah.
Now it's been like thirties every day
Yeah.
for.
40s, 30s, I mean, you know,
I saw an article, this Dr. wrote,
I mean, look at how
she
many
was
frost delays there's
operating
been.
on,
Thank God we're getting our strawberries still. I
And-
can't live without Florida
she got
strawberries.
pulled out of the operating room
Gotta have the strawberry festival.
because the insurance demanded to speak with her. She got on the phone with the insurance, and the
Julian, I
insurance
have a question for you.
is an overnight stay necessary?
Oh.
She goes, she has breast cancer. Yes, it's
Perhaps
overnight
a
stay
silly
is necessary. She kept on, she goes, well, we don't feel that
It
overnight
came
stay.
back to me.
And the doctor's like,
I don't care.
she's on my table right now. And she hung up on
So
us.
it says here that beverage operator, he is a contractor.
Yeah, it's in, that says it in his contract.
That
operator.
title?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so important.
It says operator.
Well,
or
just wanted to make
In the
sure it was in
contract
his
it does.
contract.
Yeah.
That was the big thing for me, is we can't be putting something in a policy that's not in his contract.
Yeah, doesn't it say operator in the contract? I think so, that's where we got it
That
from,
was,
so.
that was my question, is to make sure that it matched the contract.
I'm 99% sure, but I can double
Well,
check.
you double check that, I trust you completely.
Somebody
On
does.
99.9% of things.
We got one.
Okay.
We got one.
Newer one?
That's the newer one. Yeah, it's minor changes, they don't
No, I
change
know, yeah.
anything.
The other one that
She came back to me on was the one about the second check signing thing.
Uh-huh.
And she says, well, that's for online transfers, but it doesn't say that. Well, see, right here where it says, we'll have check signing authority, the treasurer or the directors will sign all other checks. And I said, well, that's redundant. And she said, that's for online transfers. Online transactions. Well, then, but see what I'm saying is right here. If you say all checks over 2,500 require signature to directors, then, and
Checks under 2,500 have to sign by one.
clearly, if you're already saying that they have to sign all of them, this line is
Yeah, see
redundant.
what we changed, we just.
I looked at it, that's why I wrote request deletion.
That's the only one. It's just because
It's one line, it's just redundant.
Okay.
That's it. It's
could
after
A lot
the-
of it's redundant, a lot of it's.
That one is very specific, specifically redundant.
Specifically
Oh, I
redundant.
feel like I'm in a race.
Is the online transfer a check?
It's underneath. Yeah, online payment. And I know I don't, an online, so whatever. If they print it, I just have to sign it. Yes, sir. You have, give a table with your we need another person. I'm just saying, if you're free, and I know you have plans with Amy, so. It starts at, well, the doors open at 5:30, I think it starts at 6. The person I had coming, again, COVID or something.
These are, see, always mostly.
So she's not coming. Okay. That's all right, I just thought I'd ask.
Real ladies on teams, they're walking in the second tier.
solution to make this whole top tier handicap parking.
Yeah.
Leave that the way it is, because I have a concern, these people here are backing out into traffic. These people are backing out into traffic. See that, it's definite hazard right there.
You got the same thing down here, you got double parking down here. I don't see your piece, but I think we're gonna have to agree with this. And I hope the entire board is agreed on that, but I've got the input of all of them, and I don't know if we can have them, I'm just saying, change it.
Okay, I'll bring up,
Pedestrian safety. I mean, these two old ladies were on full control on their feet, trying to get there and talk, and it's like, and they said, well, there's only like 11 handicap spots, and they're all taken, they're taken all the time. There's no place.
I guess Michael
not
told
against
you that,
handicap spots. I'm
in our
83, I'm
neighborhood,
heading that
the
direction
guy that
myself.
owns
Where's your look? It just looks like you're against
No,
handicap.
oh, really? No, well, I'm gonna tell you other than I'm not against handicap spots. I'm
been
just
doing it for 40 years.
against what we're doing to the aesthetics. I moved here
I
because
think
of
you
the
do.
Well, I want to know if there's any burial ground.
paving over all this stuff. That is gonna look like, oh, no. It's gotta be all parking and then you got a whole piece of grass in there.
They bury everything around.
Make that,
Like Tennessee, bury, have a Oak Ridge all over the place.
All it's gonna do is
Safety is, so these ladies were down here, finding their
Yeah.
now they're getting out here to drink.
Ask him, his name is
but how many
Chuck Pitkin. On Forest, just moved in, I don't even have the number yet. Just moved in yesterday.
need a walker or, I've been doing this every day for the last 30 days. And there are always spots to go down to this stuff.
During the season, you will not find any handicap spots.
It's just gradually collapsing all over the place. We've got
Oh, the concrete
Those
grill.
are the days I got up at the right place.
Be on the right time.
That's what they told me. It's getting, it's pretty bad.
Forget it, you see out here with
You know how to do that?
a lot of circle and that. You
Yeah,
know,
we have so many.
an hour before, you're not getting a handicap spot.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't say that to you before I, of being a public with that.
No, I know that.
I'll be out with that, deal with
One place I had to take,
stab me in the back.
Now, if there's
Somebody over there,
because it was right outside, the person.
All right, thank you.
They had to walk over there. There was no way.
All right.
To the time.
Mr. Murphy. 2 o'clock. Mr. Fay, 2 o'clock. Hey, we don't play favorites.
No way I'm going to take a
Welcome to everyone. I hope everyone got a big enough coat because it seemed to get colder in the last 2 hours out there. So if everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all. Just some housekeeping. 4 emergency doors on each side and the doors at the end of the room. If there's a 911 emergency, if there's an emergency, please call someone, please call 911. And if you have the ability to render medical assistance, please do so. All right, I'd like to, at this time, call the meeting to order. And I'm going to have the intros. On my far left, Tom Bowen,
Good afternoon, Timber Pines.
Ralph Van Dusen,
Good afternoon.
Jim Salkowski,
Good afternoon, Timber Pines.
Lynn Hoggins.
I'm so tired of being cold.
On the far right, Lynn Satilius, Director of Finance. The General Manager, Michael Fay. Good afternoon. And Mr. Mike Murphy.
Appreciate your attendance. Thank
And
you.
Ruth, you're up there. Can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I am.
I
Thank
hope
you.
Is it warm up there?
It's 20 degrees.
Oh, no, that's not good. All right, so it feels better here now all of a sudden. So thanks, everybody. All right. So let's see, who else do we have here? We see Patty and Stuart. Hi. And up in the booth, we have Edward and Paul. I see Larry at the back. Dee. Hi, Dee. And Christine. I see Christine. And Waleska's out at the front desk. Did I miss anybody that you all see else that's there? All right, so we'll call. So now we need to have the proof of notice.
Yes, we do.
And do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you. So first item is approval of minutes. Meeting of the Board of Directors held on January 6, 2025. I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Then we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 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 Good. Okay. President's report. There's an election coming up. There are candidates for the BOD, but there's also 2 items that we vote on each year. They are both IRS rulings, and each has to be adopted by a majority vote by the membership each year. The first rule has to do with excess revenue over expenditures. We are a not-for-profit corporation, and if we have a surplus, it's considered a profit, and we would have to pay federal income tax on that amount. This rule allows us to roll over any excess into the following year's operational budget with no income tax liability. And we ask you to vote yes on that one. The second rule has to do with our contributions to the reserve fund and the new asset acquisition fund. The monies that account for several $1 million each year are classified as capital contributions and are not taxable. We ask you to vote yes on both of these to avoid having to pay federal income tax on these funds, and this lowers all of ours HOA. So please vote yes when it comes time when you see that in just a little over 5 weeks from now. All right, President's report. General Manager's report.
Thank you.
Nope.
It's off.
Yep, there you go.
There's a message here.
Thank you. They only want to hear from Lynn. Good afternoon, everyone. So this month we're working on a lot of things. The new village and directional signs, they're being made, and we're looking forward that we'll be able to start seeing some of these coming into the property next month. All the departments are working on preliminary budgets. This is a long process, and we present it to the budget team once they're created. The Grand Pines Golf Course will be closed tomorrow for weed pre-emergent spray, just to make everybody aware. We continue to work on tree trimming and removal. Our tree service will be here for an additional 3 days to clean up many of the trees that have been damaged through the hurricanes. So far in January, we have had 5 frost delays on the golf courses. The executive courses are still having high daily rounds, but the Grand Pines has noticeably slowed down. For the first 7 months of this year, of our fiscal year, we have registered 483,207 members entering the gates of Timber Pines. In the same time period, we've registered 152,187 visitors, and only in the month of December, we have registered 22,730 visitors. That just kind of shows you how busy our front gates are on a daily basis. Finally, the Country Club will be open on Super Bowl Sunday, and they will be serving pizza in the bar. So, given that, thank you to Nick and the team over there. So that's everything we've got going on. Thank you.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
In your director meeting notes, there was reference to a golf open house. Could you explain that?
Yes. So it's the open house that Scott and the team does down at the maintenance. We're still making all the plans for that one, but we are looking at that to be taking place February 21st is the schedule right now that we're looking at.
I missed that. Thank you.
That's where we are right now.
And it's always a good one. Mike, we go down there all the time. It's amazing when you see what they do down there. Okay. Patty, Director of Operations.
Thank you. Just an update on activities that are going on for the next 2 weeks in January. Tomorrow night is the first member services show. It's the Brothers Doobie show, and we have sold out both shows, the 4 o'clock and the 7 o'clock show, so that should be a really fun night. We have the next show, which is Decades, which is by Pierce Arrow of Branson, and I also sent a video out to the members. We do have 4 p.m. tickets available to that show. So I just want to also remind the members that Waleska is here at the PAC now, so any show tickets are able to be purchased here at the PAC Monday through Friday with Waleska. Bingo returns this Monday at the PAC, which will make everyone happy. Games begin at 5 p.m. sharp. We will be attending the first round of the Valspar Championship, which is on March 20th. However, the event ticket and bus will go on sale Thursday, January 23rd at the Lodge. It is $80, which includes the event ticket and the bus. Also, Name That Tune goes on sale on January 23rd. That's for the February 25th event. And very importantly, the next blood drive is scheduled for Monday, January 27th at the PAC from 8 to 3:30. And more details will be available in the flash by the wonderful Blood Bank Committee. And just an update on maintenance, the fitness center will be closed on January 21st for complete carpet maintenance. We did have it closed for about 2 hours last week for partial carpet maintenance, but we are doing the complete area on the 21st, and the Wellness Center in its entirety will be closed on Saturday, February 8th for LVT floor maintenance. And of course, all this information will be in the Friday flashes coming up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item, member input on agenda items. If you have something you'd like to speak about that's on the agenda, please come to the microphone, give us your name, your village, and you have 3 minutes.
Dan McBride, Castle Pines Village. Agenda item is the Lodge.
Dan, you're going to have to come
There we go.
forward just a
Little
little
closer.
bit.
There you
Dan
go.
McBride, Castle Pines Village. The agenda item is the parking area, the Lodge parking area. I'm a member of the Common Grounds Committee, and my assigned section is Area 2, which includes the Lodge. I am not here as a member of the Common Grounds Committee, but as a concerned member of this beautiful community. The proposed plan to reconfigure the parking area in front of the lodge will require removal of a large amount of grass from in front of the stone wall. This will impact the look of the area. The plan shows the creation of 12 golf cart parking spaces. Only 7 will be handicap spots. The rest are 3 convenience spots, which have a 15-minute limit, and 3 are general use. All of these spots will require backing out into the traffic of the main road that comes across the parking areas, the ones behind, and now we got 2 backing out into the same area. If the purpose of this is to increase handicap spaces, that could be done in other ways with minimal impact on the area. One alternative would be to make the whole upper tier handicap only. The left side of the lodge has a lot of golf cart parking, which is underused. I suggest that the board members should take the plan and do a site visit prior to making a decision. You will be able to get a better understanding of what the plan encompasses and how it will affect the members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on member input?
Dave Sprake Jones, Springwood Village.
Okay.
On reviewing the drawings recently provided on the website for the lodge pool, I decided to try and get a better understanding of the cost structure. Online, I looked at a number of calculators provided for the construction cost of a 25-yard lap pool of approximately 5,000 square feet, which I presume to be the pool in question, since no dimensions are provided on your drawings. They merely are artist's rendition. The cost calculator online provided a figure in the order of 2.6 to 2.9 million, inclusive of filters, pumps, heaters, etc., and lighting. This is somewhat consistent with Big Splash's online quote. But using the drawing, again, provided on the Timber Pines website, I tried to extrapolate the size of the restroom since it wasn't marked. And a rough computation is about 700 square foot in relation to the size shown of the pool. Based on that, I looked online again at cost estimates for construction in Hernando County. And a typical public restroom runs at about $250 a square foot, which if you compute at 700 becomes 175,000. Now, I do not know what other fancy ideas you might have on that restroom. It may have storage facilities, etc., which could add somewhat to the cost. But notwithstanding that, it's a far cry from the $395,000 you have in the budget for approval. Similarly, when you look at the resistance pool, again, no dimensions provided. I made an assumption of a 100 square foot pool of depth 5 foot. And I looked at the construction cost of a concrete pool of that size, and it came up to $50,000 for the pool itself. Not knowing what the resistance equipment is, if we double the budget, it still falls far short of the $385 that you are budgeting to pay for that device.
Okay,
And lastly, My question is regarding the shade structure that is depicted in the pictures. And my question is that hurricane resistant, given our recent experience at the country club where we've gone through the replacement of all the shelters?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give you a couple of things, and because we may answer some of this when we do. First of all, I know you were just making a guesstimate.
I can't hear you
I'm
clearly.
sorry. I know you were just making a guesstimate on the size of the resistance pool. It's not 100 square feet. It's 1,000 square feet. So
I said 5,000.
no, the resistance pool that you said was 100 square feet, and you said it was $50,000.
Oh, that one, yes, it's circular. I just made a guess because
50. I
you've
know.
got-
I'm telling you, it's 1,000 square feet. That's why it's 385. Okay?
Good
I'm
grief.
just telling you what it is, okay? And all these numbers are not to exceed. That means we can spend less than that.
Yeah, well, my observation is that you fail to provide residents with very much information.
We're
A
not-
couple of artistic renditions is hardly adequate for anybody to get understanding.
Thank
All
you for your
right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? All right, Ruth, you're going to do all four of these? Ruth?
I would rather, excuse me, I would rather not do them by phone. If you could go through them, I think it'd be better.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to, number A, which is a motion to approve changes to the FIN2 delinquent account policy. I will accept a motion.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? I think that one's been fixed. There was one thing on there, and that one's already been fixed. It's on page 2 in the next to last line where it said BOD may authorize a foreclosure proceeding. So we fixed that earlier today. So that was the only thing on that one. Any other questions on that one? Any other discussion on that one? We're going to vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Passed. Motion to approve changes in FIN 5, check preparation policy as presented. I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
My only request is under other checks, if it's the 4th paragraph down, it says all directors and only directors will have check signing authorization. The next line says the treasurer or other directors will sign all other checks. And then it says all checks of $2,500 and over require the signature of 2 directors. I find the second sentence to be redundant, and I would ask for its deletion. I mean, if you're saying that all checks of $2,500 require 2 directors and all other checks have to be signed by a director,
Would you read that again, please?
Yeah.
From the beginning?
all directors,
Mine does not say that. Other checks,
What's your first sentence?
all TPCA, BOD, and only TPCA, BOD.
Have
that
check
the-
signing authority, right?
is that on the new one you handed out today?
Okay, hang on. That's sentence, right? What it says, right?
Yes.
The next sentence, do you have the TPCA BOD treasurer or other TPCA BOD will sign all other checks?
Yes.
Okay, that's the sentence she's talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
That sentence becomes redundant because in the first sentence, only directors can sign a check. Then in the third sentence, it says all checks over $2,500 have to have 2 signatures. So either all checks less than $2,500, it can either have 1 or 0. Well, we don't have 0. So technically, that second sentence is really redundant. So all she's saying is we should remove that sentence just for clarification.
I guess I would, are you following this, Ruth?
Yes, I am. And that sentence probably is not necessary for how the whole paragraph has been readjusted. I think it could be maybe just better stated, and I have no problem just working with that. It's not changing the meaning of it at all, but I think we can work together and get that straightened out so it is clear and not redundant.
I'm fine with that.
And Lynn Satelius, do you have a comment? Okay.
So then, did Lynn make a motion to amend?
I didn't. I was
No.
under discussion.
No, we're just
Okay.
discussing at this
Right.
point.
So do we need to amend it?
Okay, so we would have to amend, but, okay, so what Ruth is saying is that we should try to find language or that makes it clearer, or should we just take the sentence out? Ruth, which way do you lean the most?
I would lean to redefining it because the first sentence only says we'll have the authorization.
Okay, so hearing that, then what I would suggest, and somebody can make this, is that we table this particular one until next time, until we can get the wording that we all like, that we feel with. Anybody?
Yep.
Okay, so we need a motion to table.
So moved?
A second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So we're going to
Aye.
table that. Okay, so we go to motion C. Motion to approve changes in FIN 7-07-05, purchasing removal of property as presented. I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
And we have discussion.
So on this one, under responsibility, which is the second paragraph, number C, it says department managers and food and beverage operator. I did check on this. Michael can confirm that his actual title is contractor. I believe we should use the language that's in the contract, which is food and beverage contractor, just so that we don't have a discrepancy between our policy and what his contract says.
And that's
So
just-
I'm asking for a very simple, agreed-upon change from operator to contractor.
to match our documents. Any discussion on that? Hearing no discussion, we'll move to a vote. Those in favor say aye. Oh,
That was the only,
Yeah, that's the only
Only
one.
issue?
That's the only
Okay.
one.
so we all understand that of the other changes, it's taking it out of purchasing. It won't be FIN 7 anymore, it's going to 11.
Mhm.
Everybody followed that?
Yeah, everybody agreed with that.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was the only thing anybody, because you've had this, so that's the only thing. Yeah, exactly, you're exactly right.
Okay.
Okay? Are we okay now? All right, so we're going to move for a vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay.
That was contractor, correct?
All right, and then the last one, motion to approve changes in FIN 3 fund to administration policy as presented. I'll accept a motion.
So moved?
And do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? I don't think there was a change on this one, right?
No.
There's no changes on this one as it's written. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thanks. And passed. Okay. E, Lynn.
Motion to approve changes to the resident handbook, page 12.1, 12, affidavit of residency, removing the third sentence. For those of you, it currently reads, "The affidavit of residency affords the named person the rights of a member, with exceptions such as the right to vote in TPCA elections."
So we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and second. Discussion, as Lynn said, is simply said we're removing the third sentence because it affords the named person the rights of a member. We are not allowed by 720 to legislate the rights of a member away to someone else. So this was put in for some reason at some point in time in history, but it violates 720. Any other discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passed. All right. Ralph, F.
I'd like to make a motion to approve an AFE not to exceed $2,900,000 for the replacement of the lodge pool. This is a budgeted capital reserve fund expenditure.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Okay, discussion?
I will,
Go ahead.
well, I will approve and vote for this. I guess I would just like to go on record as being disappointed perhaps with the procedure that was used and the fact that for whatever reason, the FP&E committee was excluded from this project.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay. Mr. Murphy.
Item G, motion to approve an AFE not to exceed $395,000 for the addition of a restroom facility to be located at the lodge pool. This is a budgeted asset acquisition fund expenditure.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion second. Discussion? So this restroom, to help also with you said, this restroom looks almost exactly like the one that's out between the pro shop and the swimming pool right outside the thing here. Just so you can get an idea of the size. You wanted to know about the size. Okay, all right. I'm just explaining to you. That's all right. All right, I got you. All right, so 395. Any other discussion?
Yes, I do.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to say this is a great addition, to this whole recreational complex, and who knows what we'll put in where the tennis courts are. It'll be usable for pool users and anything else that we do over in that area. So it's a needed addition.
Right.
Okay.
It does open from both sides, so golfers can use it and pool participants can use it, and it does have a family restroom in the center. So it has a men's side, a women's side, and a family.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Mike.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I do appreciate Mr. Jones' input on this. I think the price tag on this, we did the bathroom over by the tennis courts, I believe was about $250,000 that we spent on that. And I understand inflation has gone up. I think we should probably look a little bit closer at what we're spending on this. I know it's been in the plans for a long time. I certainly am not in favor of holding up the project, but I think we could probably look a little bit closer and certainly not come anywhere near the cost of $395,000.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Stuart, when we did that, did you do that bathroom? Were you the general contractor for that one? Okay, so that lowers our cost considerably. In this particular case, this is part of the entire complex of the pool, so we have an outside general contractor? Is that part of what's raising the cost? 20%? So we have inflation, three plus years, plus contractor costs? Okay, and let me just have you address the fact that you cannot do the restroom at the lodge pool.
Well,
Well,
That's
what
not-
I'm
that's
saying,
not
I'm not
fair.
saying you can't.
No.
Maybe I should
Right,
rephrase
right,
that a little
right.
bit. It behooves us to put this into the entire project because of the pads and the lines and everything else that have to be run in the water lines. Or Michael can, I don't,
Well,
either
let
one.
Michael answer that.
It is
yeah.
more efficient
Yes.
to have the single unit, because they're going to be doing all the construction, to bring a whole separate group or multiple subs that are not working under Big Splash would cause, I think it would cause a bit of chaos up there.
it would be difficult to have two different set of, you have one main contractor and then bring somebody else totally in to do it. They probably would have to wait until the pool was finished and then start or have two working at simultaneously that aren't related to each other.
Right.
Got it.
But to Jim's point, Jim, you're exactly correct. When we had the three bids that we had, and all of them had restrooms in there, and they were from $325,000 to $375,000, so they were close. So you're exactly right. That's why we also put this in not to exceed. Our goal is to make it less if we can do that. But looking at that again is a very valid point, and I agree with you.
Well, I guess there would be one additional thing that you can't neglect, and that is the number of fixtures. We're talking about the country club tennis restroom?
No, over here. But,
No, what did you bring up? You were making a comparison, didn't you, Jim?
oh, yeah, to that one. Correct, yeah.
I said the country club tennis restroom, is that what
Yes.
you're referring to?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, the number of fixtures is totally different. You essentially have 5 bathrooms at the lodge pool. You have a family bathroom, you have 2 male bathrooms, and you have 2 female bathrooms plus storage. So it's difficult, it's not quite apples to apples.
Understood. Plumbing is expensive.
Yeah.
It is. One of the highest paid trades there is, so it's going to cost some money.
Any other discussion?
Also keep in mind that there is contingency in each one of these. Okay, so there's what did we put in?
40,000.
Okay, 40,000, that's contingency. It doesn't mean that we have to spend it, it's there in the event of.
I'd also add that there's a significant line item amount to deal with the sewage effluent from the restrooms. When the ones at the tennis courts were built, it was a relatively minor thing.
Right.
The pipe was already there. In this case, it's not.
Right.
The
It's
water
a
and
ways.
sewer line have to
Yeah,
be run
it's a
for that.
ways. Okay. All right, any other discussion? Call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. All right, Mr. Murphy.
Motion to approve an AFE not to exceed $385,000 for the addition of a resistance pool to be located at the lodge pool area.
So I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion second. Any discussion? I think this is a great addition. We have a living proof that it works. What I'm trying to get through my head is that they use this to train horses. So I'm not sure how I put those two things together yet, but that's going to be interesting to see. So if anybody has a horse with them, we can use it at the same time. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm really looking forward to this with the anticipation and hopes that it's really utilized.
Yes.
I think in my own mind, it will be similar to the dog park.
Mm-hmm.
When we went down that road and decided to do it, we were really kind of not sure, was this something that the community would like, or are they going to use it? And, brings a tear to my eye every time I go by the dog park now. I mean, it's good for the dogs and it's good for the people.
Yeah.
And this particular amenity here will be excellent for hip and knee replacement and just general health and heart, and very excited about this.
Yeah, we built a big new fitness center that people go, nobody will ever go over there, and you go there at least about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can't get in. So,
And it's interesting because that was one thing that was asked for
Yeah.
when we built the wellness center.
Oh, really?
Was a resistance pool.
Interesting. Tom?
Mr. President, just another note on this is, as an advocate for a handicap, for people that have a difficult time walking, now they're in the water where they're not, the water supporting most of their weight, yet they're walking against this resistance, so they're getting their exercise. So, for our folks that have some handicap situations, this will be an ideal opportunity for them to stay in shape while not having to, further abuse their body in any way, shape, or form by walking on a hard pavement.
Exactly. And we have lots of people that walk now.
I think it's also important to note that when we did the placement, the pool committee talked about the placement, we made sure that it was close to the entrance. So if that's all you wanted to do was use the resistance pool, you didn't have to walk across 12,000 feet of deck to get to the resistance. It's very closely aligned with the entrance, so you can just use it and then leave, if that's your decision or choice.
Any other discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passed. Thank you very much. All right.
I need
Mr.
that
Bowen.
laser pointer.
Yep.
Bottom button. The bottom button. This one right here?
Yeah, bottom.
I see it, okay, all right.
Okay.
Are we ready, Paul? Okay.
I can see that one now, maybe.
I can't.
Okay,
Oh,
folks,
there we go.
what you see here is a couple ladies. I played tennis with one of them, and I was in the parking lot, just surveying a parking lot one day, and I saw them walk out of the lodge, walk down that little sidewalk you see here, and walk along the grass here, because you can't walk here where the car stops are at. And the one senior lady here is assisting the other senior lady, and you see they both have canes. So I walked up to them and said, well, what's going on? And the one gal said, I waited over in this area right over here. You can't see at the entrance. She said that all the handicap spots were filled, so I waited for about 10 minutes. And then finally I spotted a spot and filled it. And then her friend, did parked here. But I mean, have to walk through that second tier of the lot. That was motivation. There's another picture coming up. Next picture, Paul. And you see this other gal right here, the second tier of the lot, with a cane, and there's no sidewalk here, so she had to walk down the sidewalk over here someplace and get, to her car. So imagine the stress that they would be under trying to get to their car when they're handicapped because there's no spaces available. So that's what gave me the motivation to increase the handicap spots here. Okay, next one, Paul. This is the map of the lodge. What you see here, this is the lodge entrance here. This is the cart path to the Lakes Pro Shop. And this is our current handicap spots. And we have some that are over here, which are off the map. We had a total of 11 handicap spots in the entire lodge lot. And as I looked at this, they were usually full all the time, especially on a busy day. What we did is we added handicapped along here, and then we have regular parking, and then we have some just regular golf cart parking here. We added, this is new for us, we're adding some handicapped golf cart spots. So for those folks that are handicapped and still driving their golf cart, they can park in these spots. We have some convenience spots right here, 15-minute convenience spots, so if you're dropping something off at the lodge, some paperwork, something else, you're getting something at the front desk does pretty busy business a lot of times. You could just park here, go in there, take care of your business, come right back out, and you're gone. You don't have to wait for a spot down here someplace. And there's 3 regular spots. We got some increasing safety for these folks here. We got a sidewalk here, crosswalk here, and for the pool users, especially those using the resistance pool, I realized there were going to be parking on the opposite side over here too, but you can also access it by here, crosswalk, and it goes right to the pool. We're eliminating one space over here, which you see it's cross-hatched out. Our employees, a couple of them just about got run over by cars coming this way because the car was parked here and there's a blind spot. So for either our residents who are coming out of a meeting someplace, there'll be a sidewalk added right here and a crosswalk here. And then this area right here, somebody actually parked a car here, thought it was a parking place, and completely blocked the cart path. So this will be cross-hatched in yellow, and there'll be a sign here that says, painted on the pavement, golf carts only. So this is we're going to remove some wheel stops. They're unnecessary wheel stops. They're just trip hazards. Wheel stop here. We're going to trim these bushes back here because they're a view obstruction for pedestrians coming out here. Trim some tree branches around the light areas, and that'll be about it. Any questions from the board?
I just want to make a comment. First, I appreciate Mr. McBride's position that it is important to keep green spaces and to keep timber pines looking beautiful. We will still have the timber pine sign, but there will be these additional spots out in front. For those of us, times have changed at Timber Pines, and while you used to go in and get your tickets from member services for events, it's now a madhouse on Mondays and Wednesdays at the lodge. Anybody who's been up there between 10 and 12 knows that sometimes it's impossible to find a place to park at all. I went up the other day and people were parked in no parking spots, in those crosshatch spots, which you know how I feel about that. But this will allow people better access to the lodge during those busy peak times. Go up there some night during trivia or name that tune. The place is packed. There's just not enough spaces. This will afford some more access to the lodge, and particularly for those people who have difficulty maneuvering, walking, getting in. I believe this is a good plan, and I support Tom on it.
Thank you.
Any other comments right now? The pool entrance is going to be in a different place. Thank you. Thanks. So, you know, there is tremendous amount of congestion up there, and we're trying to move some of that around to another place. So I think we have to put all this in when we're thinking about all this. But good, appreciate all your work. It's parking is a problem. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Jim, you're up.
You were going to start off with?
Yeah, all right. We have we're going to talk about the pro shop.
Or not.
He's working on it. He's working on it. All right. Okay. Now, Jim's going to explain this to you, but what I want to talk about is, if you'll give us the next slide, please. We hired a company to do a master plan, and Connie Muldoon was in charge of that. I thought she might be here today because I want to thank her so much. And this is where we are, and you can kind of get. Here's the pool right now. Here's the Performing Arts Center. Here's the bar and restaurant. Okay. When this was put together originally, the idea from the planner was to put the pro shop over here, and it would be between 3,000 and 6,000 square feet. It would be almost $3 million to put this over here. Well, luckily, Connie said, let's ask the people who actually do the work, which basically is Marion and the pros, and said, where do you want the pro shop? And all of them said the pro shop needs to be right where it is, but we need to have a window so we can see the putting green, we can see people going to the Pines, and we can see people going to the hills. So the place is perfect. So there's two issues. Is this big enough? And then parking. So we're going to separate them into two different things and talk about them. So let's talk about this first. Once they talked about moving this away from here, which I can't imagine taking some of that range away with, we only have enough room now. They moved it over here, and I know you can't read that right there, but it's 3,000 square feet. 3,000 square feet is half of this room. 3,000 square feet is half of this room. The question then becomes, for $1.3 to $1.7 million, do we want to build a 3,000 square foot pro shop? So we sat and had some common sense applied to this, and we said, what if we just, at this point, expanded the pro shop? And Jim will show you about how big that is in the layout, and he's going to show you all that. What if we just expanded the pro shop? And then, if at some point in the future, because the pro shop is going to sit right where it is right now, it's just going to be a little larger, he'll explain that. If in the future it needs to go to 3,000 square feet, then you just simply extend it again this way back to this plan, and you don't reinvent the wheel. But instead of spending $1.3 million here to $1.7 million to do that, Jim's going to show you that we can do all that for a whole lot less money. So let's talk about parking for a second. So 2 or 3 boards ago, you all started talking about parking. I understand, yeah. Because back here we have trucks, we have cars, and we have golf carts. And they all intermix right here. So one of the ideas was to redo this, block this off, cars and trucks only here, golf carts out here. All right. We run into a minor problem in doing that. The way this is drawn right here. There's a fire hydrant right there. The architect showed us that we have to have a space where a fire truck can back up. How long are fire trucks, Jimmy?
About 40 feet.
40 feet.
30 to 40.
They have to have the ability to, if we block this off, they have to have the ability to back in so they can drive out. That's code. So we would have to do something down here to do that. So what we said might be, again, a better idea right now is, let's do the pro shop. Let's don't change the parking right this second and spend all this money to do this and not sure that it's going to work. But instead, once the pro shop is done, let's build a couple of temporary restrictions to see if this actually works. So instead of spending all this money and then possibly finding out that it doesn't work, why not just spend a small amount of money to build some temporary things that we can move around to figure out what's the best thing, and then if we want to do it, we spend the money to do that part to do that. So this master plan, which a lot of people talk about, here it is, okay? There's 3 parts to this. This is the one about the golf course. But it shows you that this is, by using this master plan and putting a little common sense to it, by doing just a small thing right here that Jimmy's going to explain in just a second, we do it for a lot less money and accomplish the same thing and still have a plan for in the future. So, all right.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, we sat down with the people in the pro shop. For those of you who are unaware, originally this was a budgeted item to have the pro shop renovated. There was going to be some roof work done. There was going to be some windows replaced. So when the pro shop personnel basically said, we've outgrown our spot here. They have no storage. They're actually eating their lunches in the repair room where they repair the clubs. So we sat down with them, and a very simple bump out on 2 sides of the building gives them another 800 square feet. So this over here, this side over here would be the side over by the bathrooms, by the pool. That'd be bumped out about 11 feet. There'd be about a 2-foot buffer. When Michael was talking about parking, this area over here where we had parking, we're going to actually lose, I believe it was about 7 spots, I think we counted, that we'd lose on this side of the building over here. We're also going to bump out over here where the grass is, and this over here is where the putting green is. Again, we're going to bump out about 11 feet, another 2-foot buffer over here. We talked about possibly putting some parking over here, but then we realized it was going to encroach on the roadway too much, and then our emergency vehicle access down this area would be restricted. Now, there's not much in there except for the pool area, but if we do have to get an ambulance down there, we still have to have access. This has to be open. So what we did was we talked about further down over here, which we can't see, the grass area.
Go back one slide, though. Go back one slide, Paul.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
now you can see where that green spot is right here.
This green grass area over here, what we're looking at doing, we're probably going to end up taking over here, blacktop in this area, a portion of it, and adding about 20 more spots. It was somewhere between 20 and 25 spots we counted that we were able to get in over here across from the driving range. Okay, go back to the other slide, please. This area over here would be the merchandise area. This is basically where the desk is now. The front counter would be moving over to that corner where they'd have a view of the entrance point to both the Grand Pines and the Hills. They'd also have a view of the putting green. Their offices, the head pro office and the personnel office would be over here. Club repair would be on the side where the overhang is right now, and then storage. Their biggest complaint was they don't have enough space for both storage and club repair. And I think they at least deserve a little bit more room to do that, and they certainly shouldn't be eating their meals where they're repairing golf clubs. Next slide, please. Okay, so some of the advantages, obviously I just talked about the 800 square feet. The merchandising area, Marion and the staff there have been killing it in merchandising. They've been realizing some incredible profits over the past 2 years. So this is going to give them an opportunity to increase their stock and hopefully do a little bit more for merchandising. They're going to have a dressing room now. So instead of guessing the size that you are, you're going to have the opportunity to go in and actually try on some of the merchandise. And the bathroom that's in there, again, will be right adjacent to the dressing room. Next slide, please. Okay, the cost. Stewart has graciously volunteered his services to be the general contractor here for this project. He's estimating the cost was initially going to be about $400,000. Initially, when we had the renovation budgeted last year, we had budgeted about $275,000. So we're looking at an increase from the renovation funds, but we're getting to do the total renovation and addition for a few $100,000 more. Right now, the reserve study, which will bring you to the next slide. Next slide. Okay. This is kind of what we've worked out as far as the monies that we would need to get this entire project done. Between cabinets, the AC, doors, expansion, painting, the restroom, the fixtures, shingles and windows, $576,000 was budgeted for this project. So Stewart's telling us that he's going to be able to do this for a lot less than this. So with that, I'll take any questions from the board.
Time frame, projected.
Time frame, we would like to get started late spring, early summer of this year.
And so it shouldn't interfere with we know that there'll be this big buildup at the country club pool when we take down the lodge pool. So, but the plan is to have this one done before we start on the lodge pool.
Right. One of the things that it's going to afford us is additional parking, which we're anticipating the need for when the lodge pool is closed.
Okay.
I think part of the reason we put it in right now is because we would like to get this passed because permitting right now in Hernando County is very slow because of the 2 hurricanes. So the sooner we can agree and get going, then we can get it into permitting, get the permit, get this thing built before we really even start the pool. And it really doesn't overlap with each other to do that. That's the reason we really brought this today, to bring this out so we can talk about it, see if there's anything else we want to talk about or bring those pieces together. We started this project back in March of 2023. Kathy Sharp and I brought this to FP&E, and we started that that's how long ago we actually started looking at doing this. And last week we had a meeting with the architect and Stuart and Michael, and we had a member of FP&E there, and FP&E brought their questions because they've been looking at the thing, I think, starting in I think it was December is the first time that FP&E saw this. And then 2 weeks ago, they actually went through the entire thing with Stewart. So they've been involved with this. We've been involved with this project for quite a while. So anybody have any other questions that we could, go ahead.
Do you have a hard copy of the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I think
I
Michael
do.
does.
What was, I think, line 486, if I remember correctly? What's line 486?
You want to back up a little bit?
No, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, unless he's put
486. I don't know, but I kept it all.
Oh, I got it on my phone.
He probably has it.
If I could, one thing that we're going to be looking at, talking with Stewart, we're probably going to like to get a couple of quotes also with GC just to see, different bids.
Stuart always,
Comparatively.
he always does that. I like that.
Murph, there was no 486, maybe 496?
What was, I think it was maybe 386,000 or 343,000.
Okay, so perfect. Last year in the budget cycle, we talked about doing this project. So we put in $275,000 a year and a half ago in there. Now we have a multiplier every year as it goes out from one budget cycle to the next budget cycle. So this budget cycle is really for 25-26, and by the time we took the 275 through our multiplier, we got to the $334,000. So that's basically for the new addition. All the rest of the stuff was already in there because we were going to put new roof, new windows, new paint, new flooring, new fixtures. All those other things that you saw came straight out of the 25-26 budget that was already there. So when we added it all up, in reality, if Stewart can build it between $400,000 and $500,000, then we're actually going to be $150,000 ahead.
So at this point, the 400 is a guesstimate?
That was his best,
Okay.
and he's done that for
When
us.
we- and
And
we'll
we're
have
getting
those
ready to
hard
get two other
numbers.
ones. We're getting two other ones, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because now we have the actual plan from the architect, so now we can get the actual numbers.
Has
Yes,
this
go ahead.
progressed to,
What?
has this progressed to the point where you have a tentative plan for what you're going to do for a pro shop once construction starts?
I believe Stewart preliminary looked at using the E-room over here. They sat with Paul. They have the technology, the lines, the internet to do that. And Marion was in agreement that they can probably do it from out of that room.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Did the architect supply the missing pages that the FP&E requested?
Yeah, that's what they went through that meeting, and they wrote down what he had to do. Stuart came, brought everything. They went through every page that need to be there, the pieces that are there, what needs to be changed, all the questions that FP&E had, they answered, and the answer is yes. It's not back to us yet. It's not back to us yet, right, Stuart? As long as we did that, because we just did it last week. So, but that's coming back to us. You're exactly right.
So is there any explanation why there are no elevation drawings?
Originally, the elevation drawing, we said it's going to look like that. It's not like we're changing really the footprint of the building or anything. And there was about a $12,000 charge for drawing a picture to look like the building that's standing there right now. So we chose not to spend the $12,000. We didn't think that was, you're going to do, nobody knows what the fitness center was going to look like. But this building you're adding two walls to it. It's going to look just like the building that's there right now. If you want to go back and add it, we can go back and add it.
So you can quote the job with the prints that the architect has supplied so far, Stuart?
No, sir.
He's on. Go ahead and explain what you said. No, go ahead.
So what we received was preliminary plans, and we are turning them into construction plans, and we should have them by the end of the month. And so at that point, we will have an elevation page. So once we have those plans, we can bring it up to the board, and we can show the difference of the layouts and the elevations.
So on top of what we originally paid, we're now it's
There's no
another
increase.
$12,000?
No, there's
Not
no
that
increase
one.
on that.
No,
You just
what
said there
he's
was
doing.
$12,000 for an elevation drawing.
Originally, Not the, okay, so your definition of elevation drawing, my definition were two different things. What I was talking about was a rendering.
Renderings.
We
I
don't
think
need the
that's what you were
rendering.
talking
The $12,000
I'm
was
not
for
talking about
rendering.
renderings,
Sorry.
I'm talking about something that he
Yeah.
can quote.
Yeah,
And
that's,
any other
that's in,
GC
that's
can
in
quote.
there. That's in there.
The full
Okay.
construction
Yeah,
plans
that's in
are
there.
included in the quote that we have.
That's in there, yeah.
Right, once I get those plans, then we'll start working on the quotes.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, so we'll move on to director's comments. Tom?
I was remiss on my presentation, not thanking the rest of the board. They had a lot of good suggestions, and all those suggestions were incorporated in the plan, so I appreciate your help on it. And we'll probably proceed late April, early May, something like that, when most of the crowd has gone home here. Thank you.
Okay. Ralph?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we've begun the elections, our election cycle for the annual elections for the Board of Directors. And historically, we have made a representative of the election committee wait until the end of the meeting on the open mic. And I would like to relinquish my time to someone from the election committee if you'd like to speak.
I was going to do that, so if you want more time, go ahead, because I was going to do that anyway.
Nope, let's go ahead.
Mine just got shorter.
Get us both.
It's Gene Webb, Steve Hunter, and we're going to tag team it. And this is really for the residents. The cutoff for signing up for opting into electronic voting was noon today, so we have everybody in, and that number is? I just put them on the spot.
2135, 2136.
2135, 2136. He's going to do the tail end today when he gets home. The 21st is candidates present at the village reps. Everyone is welcome. On the 22nd, the ballot boxes go out. You will be able to pick up your ballots if you're using paper ballots. You will pick up your ballots in the Arts and Crafts Room in the Media Center. And we just bring a ID, whether it be your Timber Pines picture ID or a driver's license. The remaining packets will then be mailed on the 24th. Your first email from Vote HOA Now should also go out on the 22nd. You should get that one first. People will get their emails approximately twice a week until they vote. And we ask, on electronic voting in particular, wait until you're ready. I know some people say the emails are annoying. Well, just let them go, because there are people that have buku emails and then they can't find it. So they know that they'll get a new one and they'll get it. At that point then, nothing as far as the election committee is working and doing things, but for the members, on the 27th is the opening of the annual meeting, and at 9 o'clock, if you want to vote paper ballot in person, you can come and register to vote for that, and then there will be a point at that meeting to do it. A couple of reminders that we're putting out now that you can do beforehand. If your property is in a trust, an LLC, a life trust, those kind of things, a life estate, I think is the right terminology. Remember, you need a DVR, that's a designation of DVR, designated voter representative. And that has to be on file with admin. If you vote and you don't have one, this is paper ballots, because we trust you. When you do electronically, you say you are the eligible voter. For paper, if you don't have one, we check it. We're going to call and we're going to tell you you need one. We also ask that you update any addresses that you have. If you're here in physically here in Timber Pines, change your address to Timber Pines by Friday. The labels will be run then, and your ballot will be then mailed to Timber Pines. It won't be mailed to Michigan or New England or someplace, and then it has to come back. There will be an email blast out on Monday reminding people about this. And then our big push, I'll let Steve do that one. the ballots. That one.
Well, every year we have between a few and a lot of people putting their ballots in the ballot box with just the bare ballot. Just the ballot, just the envelope that says ballot only, without the outside envelope that has your name and your account number and your signature. The name, the account number, and the signature are required by 720 Florida statute. So if you put just the bare ballot in, that ballot gets thrown away. We've had people say, well, I've done that for 8 or 9 years. We say we've thrown it away for 8 or 9 years. So if the election came down to just a few votes and you said, well, my candidate lost, well, we said, well, maybe it was your ballot envelope that you put in improperly. So please put your ballot envelope in the outside return envelope with your name, your account number, and your signature. Pardon? And the proxy, of course, the green proxy form in that envelope, and we will properly count your ballot and cast it for you when we close the polls on February the 27th.
Yeah.
Okay? One other thing we need to talk about, and this is a little bit of housekeeping, as a follow-up from candidates night. So if you have your smartphones with constant contact on it from Timber Pines, you would have received today, but I'm going to read it for the community, a statement from the election committee. This is a correction of candidates night statement on alleged campaign violations. During the candidates night event, an announcement was made that the election committee investigated 2 election violations. This was an unverified statement. A complaint was sent to the election committee claiming that a single election violation had occurred. The complaint stated that an announcement was sent out utilizing the village rep email list by a supporter of a candidate. Upon review and investigation by the election committee, it was determined that no violation occurred utilizing the email list, and further contained the statement, quote, "This endorsement has no affiliation with the village reps." The election committee determined this single issue is not a Timber Pines campaign violation and is without merit. Signed, the election committee, Gene Webb, chair, so on. Okay?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any questions from any of you on what's going on?
Do you have a, you said from few to many on the incorrect.
8 to 15.
8 to 15.
Yeah, that was 8 to 15.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
And we can't call those people because there's no name, there's no nothing on them, so they're anonymous.
Okay. You still have some time. Jim?
No comment.
Okay. Lynn?
I just want to give a shout out, obviously, to the committees that I liaison to. First of all is ARC. I've said it before. They do an amazing job. They meet every single week at 7:30, 8 o'clock. But they are the ones that are keeping this place, making sure that the properties are being maintained correctly and that people's requests for renovations are being done, and tree removal. Second one is to the candidate ad hoc committee who put on candidates night last night. My thanks to them for agreeing to do it. I thought it was a test bed, and to Miles, to Mel Kohlberg, and to Rosemary Kindreth, and to Bob Freed, who moderated it. Just my thanks. I thought it was very well and very professionally done, and I appreciate their support. In saying that, I would also like to remind everybody that the books are still open for committees. I appreciate that we've had several people sign up. We still would like to have some more. So think about it. You have until the first Monday in February,
First business day.
first business day in February. Think about volunteering a little bit of time. It doesn't hurt. It helps you get out and meet some more people in here. Doesn't really take as much time as some of the other commitments. Thank you.
Ruth? Ruth?
No comment, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thanks. Murph?
As Lynn previously stated, I would like to call off their names again. Miles Coverdale, Mel Kohlberg, Rosemary Kundreth, and Bob Freed. They basically put together the candidates' night. As many of you may or may not know, I've been very critical of candidates' night for a number of years, and I wanted to say that I was most pleased with last night. In my opinion, it was one of the best. Bob was fantastic on his moderating. The questions, there weren't any yes or no's. If I remember correctly, I didn't hear one yes or no answer. They went above and beyond without coaxing or anything from any of the people on that committee. So my hat goes off to that group of people. So thank you.
Thanks. All right, so my committee, one of my committees is History and Archives. And on Saturday, February 28th, Saturday, February 8th, from 11 to 2 here in the PAC, they're going to host a community open house. Now, they've done this before. This is basically for organizations, come in, we'll get you a table, you can set up, you can tell people about your club, you can tell people about your organization, you meet all kinds of classes and villages. 2 days ago, we had 25 different groups already signed up, but this is a great way for people to see other things that happen, meet other people. Please try to come by or get a table. Just get hold of History and Archives if you want to have a table. Saturday, February 8th, from 11 to 2 here in the PAC. All right, that's all I have. So we're now down to member comment. Go ahead.
You had mentioned previously that the board was going to have a table.
Yes, and the board will be there.
Are we all attending that?
If you want, I haven't said it, but if you want to, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to get ready to send out an invitation for that to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Good point, though. Thanks. All right. Member comments. If you have something to say, please come to the microphone. Say your name and your village.
Well, it's Jean Webb, and I'm up as chair of the election committee this time. I would like to invite all of the 7 of you to, if you would like to come help us put the paper ballots together, we will be in the Arts and Crafts room Monday and Tuesday, starting at 9 o'clock. You're welcome to show up and just help stuff envelopes.
Okay.
When was that again?
It's Monday at 9 o'clock in the Arts and Crafts room.
Good afternoon, Rich Ollenroth, Hilltop Village. I'd just like to clear up a couple of things. What you're suggesting on the Pro Shop is an 800 square foot addition, $400,000. So you're $500 a square to put that addition on. The average cost of construction in Florida for a new building is between $150 and $250 a square foot. So let's call it 200. I think that the Pro Shop today is about 1,200 square feet, and you're adding 800 square feet. So we'll call it 200 a square. I can build a new structure for what you're suggesting that you're going to do an addition for. And even if it was beyond that, let's say it's $250 a square, I'm still going to be somewhere around about $500,000 for an entirely new structure. And I don't know where this 3,000 square foot thing came from, probably from long-range planning. But if you're just trying to duplicate the expansion in the building that you're trying to do, I'm telling you, you can build it for a little bit more money or the same money as you're going to spend on the addition. And you'll have the ability to correct the traffic problems and all of that at the same time. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all.
Aye, aye, aye.